This is between us, the wizard, and I.
The Wicked Witch can't elude us forever. Not with Prince Yeoh and his squadron hot on her trail.
No good deed goes unpunished. That's my creed.
The wonderful Wizard of Oz. No one believed in you more than I did.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel and time for another episode of Luke's Reviews. On today's video, cast your minds back to last year where we defied gravity. But now we are about to bring this tale in Oz to a close for good. In Wicked for good. Since we were last in Oz, Elphaba, now condemned by all citizens as the Wicked Witch of the West, is still determined to clear her name, prove the Wizard a fraud, and ensure the safe release and reintegration of animals across the land. However, this mission puts her at loggerheads with former friend Glinda, who has assumed the role of the Good Witch, heralded as the saviour of Oz. When Wicked hit cinema screens last year, you could feel the gargantuan wave forming. Already having a solid fan base from the musical play, it has now become one of the most popular properties in recent memory. People I know who are not into musicals were inevitably dragged along to see this and left, not just saying it was better than they expected, that they left saying it was one of the best films they had seen that year. The songs have been played on repeat continuously for the past year, all the while the buzz for part 2 has been growing and growing. Here's the problem though. And it's a problem that I don't think a lot of the audience who have only seen part 1 of the Wicked movie, they're not expecting. And that is that the second act of the stage production, Wicked, it's not very good. Yes, the first half ends in spectacular fashion with the belter that is Defying Gravity. Instant goosebumps, standing ovation. Everyone is on a high after Act 1. And so that when it comes to Act 2, it's all of a sudden like, oh, they might have peaked too early here. The story gets increasingly muddled and unfocused. Some of Elphaba's behavior and character motivations seem wildly incorrect to how she's been established in the first part. Not to mention that the way in which they tie it all together with the Wizard of Oz is incredibly clunky in places. But I was hopeful that given the momentum of the first one, and with director Jon M at the helm, that they were going to be able to patch over some of the cracks that is in the second act of the stage musical. And so I am here to say that if you are a fan of the second act of Wicked, then you will be very happy to know that Wicked for Good is an incredibly faithful adaptation of that second act. And as a result, I was left disappointed. Look, much of the criticism that I have with this film in particular isn't solely the film's fault. It is to do with the story. As the movie opens, it is very noticeable that the energy, the magic, the spark that part 1 had, it's just nowhere to be found. The musical numbers aren't all that memorable, and there is a decidedly more mature tonal shift that I think may detract some younger viewers. There were some younger kids in my audience, and they started zoning out. A lot of them were roaming the aisles. I never once got that in part 1, but in this, yeah, I think some of them just switched off. Again, like the stage musical, the character of Elphaba is played far too cold and distant. I appreciate an argument could be made that she is that way because of how the public have treated her, but it's more to do with how uncaring and how unfeeling she is. Interactions with her sister, for instance, come across disinterested and, well, rather bored. There's one example that I have, and it is a specific spoiler. I won't go into it, but Elphaba suffers an unimaginable tragedy, and her overall reaction to it, or at least the next time that we see her, she looks like it's more of a mild inconvenience. I can't put the blame squarely on Cynthia Erivo because she's only performing the character how she has been written. But the considerable endearment that she had earned from that first movie is so scarcely found in this sequel. I'd go so far as to wager that I can't see Erivo making the top 5 actresses at the Oscars this year. I can't see her getting a nomination. And then there is the way in which all of this ties into The Wizard of Oz. Now, just like the stage production, you either are seeing things from afar, or you're just not seeing things at all. By things, I mean specific moments in The Wizard of Oz in which all of these characters are interacting. But as you kind of reflect on these specific tie-ins, and you try and run them through your head, you begin to realize that things just don't make sense. And the only reason it's happening in the first place is kind of because they just have to shoehorn in these references. It's like being told 2 and 2 makes 5 when you're like, well, clearly not. So no. For much of the runtime, I was not impressed with Wicked for Good. But on occasion, there were these moments where the magic, that spark, would fly onto the screen, and I was reminded of just how amazing this could be. Case in point, Ariana Grande. She is wonderful. Again, Glinda has grown significantly as a character. Someone who is troubled by her previous decisions, but forced to reconcile with her present. She's the hope needed for the citizens of Oz, even if she knows much of it has all been built on a lie. Grande shows off her range, still thrilling about with her bubbly and extravagant persona, but also showcasing the absolute devastation she is suffering from due to the weight of her actions taking their toll. The musical numbers, specifically in the latter half of the film, give this movie some much needed jolt of adrenaline. As long as Your Mine is a brilliant romantic ballad, No Good Deed is an absolute barnstormer of a song. Erivo crushes it. And For Good is the quintessential emotional climax to the film that we are hoping it would be. The newer musical numbers, No Place Like Home and The Girl in the Bubble, the ones that have been specifically written by Steven Schwartz for this movie, they are not in the stage production, are good songs. They're good, but they are nowhere near as memorable as any of the others in this film. Just like part 1, the sets and costumes are all outstanding, so I'd expect they will do well come awards season. But besides Ariana rightfully earning another Oscar nomination, or at least I predict that, I don't think For Good will have as strong of a presence as it did last year, and I think that's primarily down to it being a weaker film. The story is just not up to scratch for most of the runtime. It's faithful to the second half of the stage musical, but maybe to a fault. The pacing, the magic, the energy, all of it was waning in the first hour. Eventually, Wicked for Good got itself into gear and did deliver a worthy finale, but there sure were plenty of bumps along this yellow brick road. So, I'm going to give Wicked for Good a very, very generous, and this is only really because of the latter half finally kicking into gear, a 7 out of 10. So, those were my thoughts on Wicked for Good. Let me know, have you had the chance to see the film yet? What did you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And my question to you, given the phenomenal success of Wicked, I don't think this is going to be the last time that we go to Oz. So, there are plenty more stories within the world of Oz to be explored. So, what would you like to see next? But there's all the time we have for today, so thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.
Hello, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to click that like button, and if you aren't already, click that subscribe button too.